Hi guys, welcome to Karma on Deck. I'm Karma. This is your weekly reading for the sign of Gemini. Thank you for joining me. For those of you on my other social media platforms, please join me on YouTube, Karma on Deck. You can see these cards picture in picture. Let's take a look and see what the game is this week. First card that comes out is Strength. So I've been talking about that card. It popped up quite a bit last week. There is this parable or fable that talks about like taking the thorn out of the lion's paw and making it your friend. And I've been equating that to our traumas, our self-esteem, and our negative self-talk, and saying that once we become well acquainted with and aware of our demons, so to speak, there's an expression that I used to say often where it's you don't slay your demons, you find what they feed on and kill that. And so the Strength card really epitomizes that ideal. And that's where we actually become friends with, where our weaknesses eventually become our strengths. So for some of us, that looks like stubbornness, where, it makes us have these roadblocks at times when we come across something and we don't listen and we're stubborn. However, it's that same tenacity that gives us our strength when it comes to speaking up or making our way or, sticking to our guns and our integrity, so to speak. We have a couple major cards in play. Well, I would say 4 out of 5, because when you look at this, you have the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Swords, and the Hangman, okay? So out of your past, you have created this strong foundation where King of Swords means victory, Page of Wands means learning. So when you have this, taking on something new, you're really taking and charging on a new path. And you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is fate and timing. So you've got this timing that's going on, this divine timing, this divine aspect where it's like things are finally falling into place for you. You've left some things behind. You've been hung in the balance for a while. Gemini has a metric shit ton of majors here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far. So what I have to say to you, my dear Gemini, is the Moon card is mapping, okay? The Hangman is in the back row with fate, which means that this wait is over, okay? That you've turned a corner, turned a page, and you're really starting to find this balance, as in the Star card, finding what's in alignment for you, seeing how the cosmos and how the stars and how hard these lessons have been, and really seeing your placement within it. Now you've got the High Priestess. The end result card really is the 7 of Swords, which says that this next period for you is going to be all about things getting easier and like the belt loosening a little and feeling a little as if the pressure isn't quite as heavy on you as it once was. We have the Knight of Coins, which is our card that has to do with starting over something new, possibly something that has to do with a financial endeavor or a work project. We also see the 3 of Cups, which is celebration, also means that you're like keeping your circle small and making sure that the people that are in your life that you can manage it. And so with the 3 of Cups, it just feels as if you're nurturing and protecting your small circle and making it richer, right? Now we have the High Priestess, and the High Priestess is all about intuition. And I'm going to stick with this general reading for a minute here because there's a lot for you, Gemini. We have the Strength card, which means making your weaknesses into strengths, finding your power. The Star card coming into alignment, the Fate card, wheels turning, time turning, feeling as if this phase of brokenness is kind of finally passed for you. We have the King of Swords indicating that this is victory. It means you've won the war. Now you must win the peace, okay? We have the Queen of Swords, leaving things behind. We have the Moon card, which is all about mapping. The Moon card's also a little bit about fear. Excuse me, also about giving us these new indicators that the path we're on is fun, yet it's all about, why do I have the hiccups? Whew. Can't know where you're going unless you know where you are. So for this deck and in this reading, it talks about like you mapping your future, making plans for what's next. But I will say the most fun thing that I see for you is the Magician. So the Magician in this deck in particular talks about being a figurehead or a speaker. So when you're being asked to speak, it usually is coming from this place of authority where you have these beautiful, expertise and this voice of yours that needs to be heard. I'm also seeing 7 of Cups, which is internal balance. So when you look at the 7 of Cups, there's all these elements within your life. And if you look at this card, they have decision making, your money, sensuality, sexuality, spirituality. It has all of these different indicators that tell us that there are this beautiful alignment. So as within, so without, Gemini, this is you starting to find your stride, finding your balance, being able to come into a little bit of speak from authority, and to come into a little bit of power with your experience, and etc. Even though you feel a little bit exposed, a little vulnerable, and as if you're doing things new, we have the Queen of Wands, which is taking on a new project and being coming from leadership. So I just want to say, trust yourself, right? You have the High Priestess here, and then you have the Magician card, which is speaking from this experience that you have. And I think the world's really looking to hear your voice, and I think I'm going to make that your title. I do see that Gemini is really deeply entrenched in learning new things right now too, indicated by the Page of Wands. So I don't know if you're doing an online study, taking a class, or spreading out and just getting your hands on the meat of the matter, so to speak, and studying some things that will be beneficial for your future. So in regards, that might even be a CEU, which is a continuing education class, or whether it's some training that has to do for work. But I just see you really getting your fingers on something that's exciting to you. Let's pull a card for you from my Mystic Dreamer deck and do your moon reading. So this is for Gemini. For those of you that are Gemini moon, this can also apply to those of you looking at your relationships from this perspective. Please join me on my YouTube, Karma on Deck. Like, subscribe, and share. I would really love your support there. And book your one-on-one, karmaondeck.com. There's also some Tarot 101 classes that are going up on there. They're already in play. Let me know if you want to join in that. So let's see what your Gemini moon looks like. Four of Wands, commitment as ever. We have the Queen of Wands, which is work. Queen of Wands is also was the card that was in play in the other reading. So there's your congruency, which means leadership. Protective leadership, okay? The Hangman is also in play, so your two congruencies there. So the Hangman, you're always thinking about the pauses, right? And never ever forget, Gemini, that the pauses often bring us these moments of growth. You know, you plant a seed, there's a pause before it sprouts. You get pregnant, there's a pause before the child is born. You apply for something, you have to wait for approval. The Hangman isn't always bad, but the pauses give us an opportunity to rest. Take the rest while you can. I will see that Gemini has had a lot of wanting to walk away from certain situations and going on in the back of their mind, and they're thinking about certain arguments, fights, and different, you know, what's the word I'm looking for, where you have conflicts or things to resolve, okay? You don't feel as if your voice is being heard. And right now it's all about the Ten of Swords, which is betrayal, or feeling as if you've got, you know, needles in your back, or somebody hasn't got your back, or they've actually literally betrayed you. So maybe you're bringing some of those past experiences forward and not clearing them, because I still feel like you're carrying the weight of some of those things, and you're just barely on the verge of losing hope. And I don't mean depression. I mean, like, if one more frustrating thing comes my way, I'm going to lose my shit. Now, this is just how you're thinking. You may not be behaving that way because you're a little stronger than that and made of better stuff. But this tells me that, you know, if you need to find some joy, and if that means saying no to some things, then by all means do so. But the Five of Pentacles is literally these two women sitting in front of a church door, and it's open, but they're not going in because they don't feel like there's any faith left for that. And this is just an analogy. So maybe you're feeling as if you've lost a little hope, lost a little faith, feeling frustrated. And, you know, money is a big issue too. And you're kind of tamping that down. You have the King of Coins, and also the Page of Pentacles, and Page of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. And that's, you know, all about like feeling as if you have to start over yet again. Ace of Swords is in play. Ace of Swords being decisions. You've got a lot of decisions to make, and you're really desperately wanting to have good judgment with these decisions, because the Judgment card in play tells us that the most important thing to you, along with the Ace of Swords, is that you make good choices. Aside from all of that, I will say that the first card that pops up in this spread for you was the Four of Wands, which has to do with commitment. So commitment is one of those things that can kind of be a broad spectrum kind of idea. Okay, so commitment is like, are you as committed as I am? Do you, you know, that's where Gemini feels like they have their strength, is when others really display their level of commitment, their level of integrity. And right now, this is all about like, dude, if you're not pulling your weight, I got to go. And also feeling as if you'll play as long as you're fully committed and fully vested. The other thing that I wanted to point out was the card that's coming up for you, which is the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is telling us that what you've been, you know, dealing with quite a bit has been your emotions. And it might be just because of all these delays. You've got the Hangman right in the back row, which says that you really are coming from this place of whatever it's going to take to make things easier, you're going to do that. Because it just feels like there's all this overwhelm and this background fighting that had been going on that you're trying to clear, and this miscommunication. So the Three of Swords is miscommunication. Remember, Mercury is still in play, and so that can have a tendency to make things a little bit more difficult to wade through. It's like swimming through mud. A little bit wet, a little bit sticky, and a little bit heavy. And so you're feeling like you've just got to clear all of that out of your eyes and get a little fresh. But it's just tougher than it has to be. I also see the Sun card. So that indicates there's a lot of celebration for you, and you just aren't seeing it. So for you, dear Gemini, I don't have any recommendations for that at the moment, but let's pull a card for you from the Divination of the Ancients Oracle card and see what your message is for the week. And then I think I'm going to come on and talk about Mercury. If you guys want to talk about Mercury, let's do that. Hi, guys. How are you? All right. Your card of the week is guidance. So you have the card here, which is tarot. And tarot looks as if there is, you almost feel as if, and now for you, Gemini, this is like an uncomfortable situation, is to ask for more information. But right now I see the tarot card, which is all about guidance. So the recommendation with this card is for you to seek guidance. If that means getting a tarot reading, looking into astrology and seeing what the aspects look like for the next week. If that looks like, you know, talking to an unbiased person, like personally myself, Moxie and I both, as life coach partners, we use each other for accountability. So if there's something I really need to get done, all I got to do is tell her, and she's going to check on me and make sure that I get it done, and really be like, well, what were you thinking when something else comes up, or I do some self-sabotage and don't get it done. So guidance, find somebody with an expertise that you're looking for, or that has the relationship that you're looking for, that they can give you some advice if that's what it is, or regarding money. But whatever that looks like, tarot indicates that you're looking for some guidance. So I would recommend that you lean on somebody with the expertise. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the flip side. Like I always say, love and light come from love, and you will get the right answer. That's my promise to you. I'll see you guys later.